Is the Toronto Blue Jays' rumor flirtation with bringing back Danny Jansen nothing more than a pathetic nostalgia-fueled blunder? A short-sighted grab for a mediocre catcher who's already proven he's not the answer behind the plate, and whose return would only stifle Alejandro Kirk's growth while wasting precious resources on a guy who's more reliable backup than franchise savior? That's the blistering hot take scorching through MLB analysis circles right now, with voices like Ben Nicholson-Smith from Sportsnet torching the idea as a classic Jays regression. Jansen's a solid vet, but bringing him back screams of front office stuck in the past. Ignore his .228 average last year and defensive lapses that make him a liability. This is how teams like the Tigers wasted years on retreads instead of building for the future, and Toronto should slam the door on this feel-good farce before it blocks real progress. Welcome back to Blue Jays Nation, your unfiltered source of the raw truth in pinstripes and maple leaf grit. I'm your host, channeling the fiery skepticism this rumor demands. Today, November 13th, 2025, we're eviscerating the buzz about a potential Danny Jansen reunion, dissecting why the so-called strategic fit is a trapdoor to mediocrity that overvalues sentimentality, squanders our limited budget, and distracts from the bold moves our catching core and overall roster desperately need to finally capture that elusive World Series after last season's heartbreaking exit, where our backstops combined for a .212 average and our pitching staff crumbled under. Inconsistent game calling. This isn't about hating on a homegrown guy like Jansen. It's about brutal honesty. Re-signing him as a free agent after a stint with the Red Sox would be like reheating leftovers when we need a gourmet upgrade. A move that signals a front office that's playing it safe instead of swinging for the fences, especially when our farm system is brimming with improving talent waiting for a shot. Let's break it down, expose the hype as hollow, and project a future where ditching this reunion keeps us agile and competitive without the baggage. Because in Jays Nation, we romanticize enough familiar faces that fizzled. It's time to demand innovation, not more recycled reliability that leaves us stuck in the AL East basement. Let's start by unpacking this rumor that's got the fan base buzzing with a dangerous mix of nostalgia and false hope. Because even in its most optimistic light, the idea of Danny Jansen returning to Blue Jays feels like a step backward for a team that's supposed to be all in on contention after coming so close last year. The whispers gained steam recently, with insiders pointing to Jansen, a 30-year-old catcher drafted by Toronto in 2013 and traded to Boston mid-2024 as a prime target in free agency. Touted for his familiarity, defensive savvy, he's framed pitches at an elite 52% strike rate last season. An occasional pop, he hit 13 homers in 2023 with us. The pitch is that he provided depth behind Alejandro Kirk, who slashed .249 with 5 homers last year, but struggled with durability, missing 22 games due to minor injuries, offering leadership in the clubhouse and stability for a pitching staff that ranked 18th in catcher ERA at 4.12. It's framed as a perfect reunion that balances emotion with logic, especially since Jansen knows the organization inside out, having played 486 games for us with a .227 career average, 75 homers, and a reputation for calm game management that helped our arms like Jose Barrios post a 3.38 ERA in 2023. With Boston likely not re-signing him after his .228/.313/.402 line in 86 games last year, 6 HR, 25 RBI, the Jays see an opportunity for a short-term deal around $5 to $7 million annually, adding a veteran presence to mentor prospects and alternate with Kirk and platoon that exploits Jansen's .265 average against lefties. Fans are eating it up, dreaming of the good old days when he was part of our 2021-22 playoff pushes, and analysts note the market scarcity of elite catchers, making him a cost-effective option amid our $245 million payroll that's already stretched with extensions for Guerrero, $28 million, Xavier, and Bichette, $25 million. But here's where the hot take erupts like a fastball to the ribs. This is delusional regression, a feel-good story that ignores Jansen's glaring flaws and the opportunity cost of tying up roster spots and cash on a player who's never been more than average, peaking at 1.8 WAR in 2023 but dipping to 0.9 last year with defensive metrics like -3 framing runs saved that expose him as a liability behind the plate. Nicholson-Smith's critique nails it. Jansen's return is comfort food for a starving fan base, but it's empty calories His 25.1% strikeout rate and declining bat speed, down 2 miles per hour since 2022, make him a backup at best, and chasing him blocks Kirk's path to stardom while we ignore real needs like bullpen arms after our relievers blew 28 saves last season. We've hovered around 89 wins the last 2 years, with catching a quiet weak spot. Our backstops combined for just 11 homers and a .682 OPS, ranking 25th in MLB. And bringing back Jansen feels like admitting defeat, settling for familiarity when bolder targets like free agent Tyler Stevenson, who hit .266 with 18 HR for Cincinnati, or a trade for a young stud like Gabriel Moreno, whom we foolishly dealt away in 2022, could truly elevate us. Pivoting to the heart of why this Jansen reunion is a colossal misstep. The first major argument is that his experience and leadership are overhyped myths that mask his mediocre production, and re-signing him will perpetuate our catching woes by investing in a player whose offensive inconsistencies and defensive decline make him a net negative for a team aiming for contention, not just competence. Look at the data. Jansen's career OPS sits at .738, with a .228 average last year that included a brutal 198 in August, and his power has waned, hitting just 6 homers in 276 at-bats for Boston, down from his 17 in 2022 with us. Defensively, while he's praised for game calling, advanced stats paint a grim picture. His -4.2 defensive runs saved last season ranked him 28th among catchers with 500-plus innings, and his pop time, 1.98 seconds, is league average at best, allowing 72% success on stolen bases against him. Compare that to elite options like Adley Rutschman, .271 average, Gold Glove defense, or even our own Kirk, who threw out 28% of runners and posted a .745 OPS despite durability issues. Jansen doesn't move the needle. He just maintains the status quo, and in a division where the Yankees boast Trevino's framing wizardry and the Orioles have Rutschman's all-around excellence, settling for him is like bringing a knife to a gunfight. The hot take circulating on MLB Network is that Jansen's solidity is code for average. His 1.2 WAR last year is backup material, and the Jays would be better off promoting prospect Arjun Mulla or signing a power bat like Christian Vazquez, who hit 10 homers with better framing, plus 5 runs saved. It's a valid burn. Our offense ranked 16th in runs scored for .3 per game last year, and Jansen's occasional power, career-high 17 HR, comes with too many slumps, like his .176 average in the 2023 playoffs where he went 3-4-17, contributing to our wild card exit. Bringing him back risks repeating that inconsistency, especially when our pitchers thrive more under Kirk's guidance. 3.98 ERA with him versus 4.26 without last year, and tying up a roster spot on nostalgia ignores how teams like the Dodgers built dynasties with innovative catching tandems, not retreads. Building on that, the second key point is that Jansen's return would stifle the development of our younger talent, particularly Alejandro Kirk, turning what should be a forward-looking strategy into a backward blockade that limits upside and perpetuates a cycle of mediocrity behind the plate, all while our real priorities like bullpen depth and outfield speed go unaddressed. Kirk, at 26, is the future. His .249 average last year belied elite contact skills, 15.2% strikeout rate, 90th percentile, and improving defense, +2 framing runs saved. But platooning him with Jansen would cap his innings at around 100 games, stunting his growth just as he's entering his prime after a 2022 All-Star nod where he hit .285 with 14 homers. Jansen's presence as a veteran mentor sounds nice, but it's a crutch. Kirk's already shown leadership, calling games for Berrios' no-hitter bid last year, and adding Jansen risks creating a logjam that forces us to carry 3 catchers or demote prospects like Hagen Danner, who slashed .278 in AAA with 12 HR, depleting our farm's depth at a position where we rank 20th in organizational talent per MLB pipeline. The controversy rages on Baseball Tonight, where Pedro Gomez blasts, "This is developmental malpractice. Jansen's 30 and declining. His exit velocity dropped to 87.2 miles per hour last year." Blocking Kirk, who's at 20 HR potential, for a guy who hit .228 is how the Cubs wasted Wilson Contreras' prime with retreads. It's spot on. Our 2024 playoff run exposed catching as a weak link, with Kirk fatiguing late, hitting .202 in September. But the solution is rest and support through prospects, not recycling Jansen, whose leadership didn't prevent Boston's pitchers from posting a 4.56 ERA with him behind the plate. In a market flush with options like free agent Travis d'Arnaud, who hit .238 with 15 HR and plus 6 DRS for Atlanta, chasing Jansen feels like fear of the unknown, especially when our bullpen blew 26 saves last year, 22nd MLB, and needs $20 to $30 million in reinforcements like Aroldis Chapman or a trade for Devin Williams. Diverting funds to Jansen means skimping there, dooming us to more late-inning heartbreaks. Rounding out the case against this reunion, the third pillar is that Jansen's cost-effective appeal is a mirage in a tight budget landscape, where a $5 to $7 million deal for him would siphon resources from critical areas like pitching and outfield upgrades, highlighting how this move prioritizes short-term comfort over long-term contention in a division where every dollar counts. With our payroll projected at $250 million for 2026, extensions looming for prospects like Joey Loperfido, and luxury tax thresholds looming, signing Jansen. Even on a 2-year pact, ties up money that could go toward a high-upside arm like Roki Sasaki, if he posts from Japan, or a speedster like Jazz Chisholm to address our 28th-ranked stolen bases, 82 last year. His bargain status ignores the opportunity cost. Last year, he earned $5.2 million with Boston and produced just 0.9 WAR, a $5.8 million value per Fangraphs. Hardly efficient when Kurt provided 1.5 WAR at $2.8 million. The hot take from the Athletics prospect gurus is that Jansen's deal is fool's gold, his irregular offense. OPS dipped to .715 last year, and average defense make him overpriced for a backup, and the Jays should invest in youth like promoting Tyler Heineman from the minors, who hit .312 in AAA, instead of this budget-draining nostalgia. It's a damning point we've allocated inefficiently before, like the $24 million on Springer, who's declined to a .220 hitter, and repeating that with Jansen risks cap strain that forces trade of assets like Jordan Romano, are closer with 36 saves last year, but injury-prone, weakening us overall. Analysts on MLB Central debate fiercely, with some calling it emotional over logic, arguing that in a free agent class thin on catchers, Jansen's familiarity is tempting, but ultimately a trap that limits our ability to pursue game changers like signing Blake Snell for rotation depth after our starter's 4.38 ERA ranked 22nd.